Story 1. The Storm of Blackwood Bridge. In the depths of rural Louisiana, there stood an old, rickety bridge known as Blackwood Bridge. Locals avoided it, whispering tales of ghostly apparitions and unexplained occurrences, especially during thunderstorms. The story of Emily and her family was often cited as the most chilling example. On a stormy night in 1975, Emily's family decided to drive home after visiting relatives. As they approached Blackwood Bridge, their car skidded on the wet pavement and they lost control. The vehicle crashed through the bridge's guardrail and plunged into the swollen river below. The family was never found, and their disappearance remained a mystery. Years later, people claimed to see the ghostly figures of Emily and her family during thunderstorms. Drivers reported seeing a car stalled on the bridge with shadowy figures pushing it, only to vanish when approached. Others heard faint cries for help from the river below, despite there being no one in sight. One stormy night, a brave local named Jake decided to investigate. As he crossed the bridge, his car suddenly stalled. A figure in a long coat appeared, pushing a car that looked identical to the one Emily's family had driven. Jake got out to help, but as he approached the figure, it turned to him with a twisted, wet face and screamed, "Help us!" before vanishing into the darkness. Jake fled the bridge, never to return. The locals continued to avoid Blackwood Bridge, especially during thunderstorms, fearing the wrath of the vengeful spirits trapped between worlds. The bridge stood as a testament to the terror that thunderstorms could unleash, a place where the living were not welcome. To this day, people claim to see Emily and her family on stormy nights, their ghostly figures pushing a car that never moves, forever trapped in a cycle of desperation and fear. The legend of Blackwood Bridge serves as a haunting reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some places are best avoided, especially when the storms roll in. Story 2. The Last Transmission. In 1987, a group of friends, all seasoned storm chasers, embarked on an expedition to document severe thunderstorms in the Great Plains. Led by Mark, a charismatic and experienced leader, the team consisted of experts in meteorology, photography, and engineering. Their target was a massive supercell that had formed over rural Oklahoma. As the storm intensified, the team positioned themselves in the predicted path of the tornado. They set up their equipment, including cameras, microphones, and a ham radio to stay in contact with their support team back at the base. The storm was massive, with lightning illuminating the dark sky and thunder that shook the ground. Suddenly, Mark's voice crackled over the radio, his tone urgent and fearful. "We have something here. Something massive is coming. Oh God, it's..." The transmission cut off abruptly. The support team frantically tried to re-establish contact, but there was only static. A search party was dispatched, but the team's vehicle was found abandoned, cameras still rolling, and the engine running. The footage revealed nothing out of the ordinary until the very end, where a blinding flash of light filled the screen, followed by an unearthly scream. The team's disappearance was never explained. Some say that on stormy nights, when the conditions are just right, you can still hear Mark's voice on the radio, warning of something massive coming, his voice growing fainter until it's consumed by the static of the unknown. Others claim to have seen the team's ghostly figures, forever chasing the storm, trapped in a loop of terror and awe. The incident remains one of the most baffling in storm-chasing history, a chilling reminder that some storms are more than just nature's fury. They are gateways to the unknown. Story 3. The Storm Shelter Nightmare in the heart of Tornado Alley. A family of 4 sought refuge in their storm shelter during a particularly violent storm. The shelter was state-of-the-art, designed to withstand even the most powerful twisters. As the storm raged above, the family huddled together, listening to the deafening roar of the tornado. But as the minutes ticked by, they began to feel a creeping sense of dread. The air grew colder, and the darkness seemed to take on a life of its own. The father, John, tried to comfort his family, but he couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. Suddenly, the radio in the shelter crackled to life, broadcasting a voice that sent chills down their spines. "Get out while you still can." The voice was distorted, but it seemed to come from all around them. The family exchanged terrified glances, unsure of what to do. As the storm raged on above, the voice continued to taunt them, its words echoing off the walls of the shelter. "You'll never escape." The family's screams were drowned out by the tornado's fury, and when the storm finally passed, the shelter was found empty. The family's fate remained a mystery, but the storm shelter's radio was still transmitting, repeating the same ominous phrase over and over. "Get out while you still can." Some say that on stormy nights, you can still hear the family's screams, trapped in the shelter, forever warning others to escape while they still can. Story 4. The Eye of the Storm. A documentary crew ventured into the heart of a Category 5 hurricane to capture its raw power. As they positioned themselves in the storm's predicted path, the team leader, Rachel, marveled at the eerie calm within the eye of the hurricane. The sudden stillness was a stark contrast to the chaos outside. But as they filmed, strange occurrences began to plague the team. Equipment malfunctioned, and strange noises echoed through the windless void. Rachel started to feel an intense, unsettling presence, as if they were being watched. Suddenly, the camera captured an unexplainable figure standing just beyond the edge of the calm. The figure seemed to be watching them, its presence unnerving. As the team tried to flee, the storm's fury resumed, trapping them in the eye. The last transmission from the crew was a desperate cry. "We're not alone in here." The team's fate was never determined, but the footage revealed a haunting truth. The eye of the storm was not as empty as they thought. Some say that during similar storms, you can still see the crew's ghostly figures, forever trapped in the eye, a chilling reminder that some natural wonders are best left unexplored. Story 5. The Broadcast from Nowhere. In the 1950s, a small radio station in the Midwest began receiving strange broadcasts during severe thunderstorms. The signals would override their regular programming, transmitting eerie messages and warnings that seemed to come from nowhere. One stormy night, the DJs heard a faint voice whispering, "Turn back now," repeatedly. As the storm intensified, the voice grew louder, more urgent. The DJs tried to investigate, but the signal vanished as suddenly as it appeared. The next night, the broadcast resumed, this time with a different message. "The storm is not what you think." The DJs were baffled, unsure who was sending these messages or why. As the storms continued, the broadcasts grew more frequent, more ominous. The messages spoke of ancient powers awakened by the storms, of worlds colliding, and of impending doom. The DJs were terrified, unsure how to respond. One night, the broadcasts stopped, and the station fell silent. The DJs were never seen again, and the station was abandoned. Some say that during storms, you can still hear the broadcasts, warning of impending disasters, and that those who listen are forever changed. Others claim the broadcasts were a warning from the future, or a message from another dimension. The truth remains a mystery, lost in the static of the unknown.